Let's get busy with GMO, folks. All right, back early several years ago, and I swear this is not a plug. I'm just saying this because this is how I came to it. I was writing a book called "As I See It: Class Warfare: The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom," and I had to do a whole lot of research on economics and patenting and all that sort of stuff, and I ran across how patents work in these fields. And then realized that we had companies like Monsanto that were creating designer seeds and all these sort of things. And there are different options that they had. They had things like ways to turn seeds on and off. In other words, seeds that you plant, it grows one time. After it grows, you have to go to the ADM or Monsanto or whatever to get your seeds, right? Because they finally put capitalism into seeds. So what we have here is that one company would control the seeds for a particular brand of crop. And when that farmer uses that seed, it turns off. But I want to let you know that I think there are now restrictions on how you can set the seeds to turn off and on and that kind of stuff now. The technology is there. I'm not sure if it's legal. I haven't done any new research on it lately. But anyway, that was the intent, turning seeds on and off so that you have to go to the people who know how to breed the turned on seeds that can grow one time and put it in the field. All right. Well, these companies patented all of that. And in the process of patenting all of that, they've patented these things for several reasons. They've created seeds that resist certain types of herbicides, which mean as opposed to having to spot check herbicides, you could go from airplanes and just spray the entire crop. And for anything but that crop, the herbicide kills, right? Great for farming, right? High tech farming, man. You can throw some chemicals down. The plant continues to grow because it has a gene that is resistant to that particular herbicide, and everything around it dies. You don't need a lot of people to go out there and weed your plants or anything like that. I mean, all these great technologies, right? But also, to use these things, they force farmers to have to go ahead and buy the seeds. In the case of corn, they have to go to the manufacturer or the person who designed that seed and buy it every single time. A farmer can't have his thousands of acres of corn, save a few acres for seed and replant it. He couldn't do that. And then you'd have trucks rolling around our farmlands, and as they go around our farmlands, they'll steal crop from the field. They don't go ahead and buy it in the store when that company sells it. They steal it out of the field. They go ahead and do a genetic test on it. And if they find that that genetic test comes back positive with their gene, they would go to the farmer and say, pay up or I'll take you to court. All right. Now, interestingly, the one thing these guys can't control are bees and the wind. And the other thing they can't control is the totality of life. So what would happen is pollen would blow from a farmer's field who decided to have a genetically modified product, whether that be corn or something else. And that pollen would be carried by bees or the air to that other farmer's land. And then that farmer next year's crop or even this year's crop would have the gene from the other farm. And what happens then? You're taken to, the Monsanto or what IDM or whatever the company is goes ahead and they go off to the farmer and say, okay, pay up. And the farmer says, I'm not paying you anything. I didn't, I, I grow my own corn and I plant it every year. And of course, now that he has polluted corn, the next year that he plants corn, it has the Monsanto or the gene inside of it, and Monsanto is going to say, "Pay up! You're using our technology that we have patented." One of the reasons in the book I spoke about patents being the one of the most evil parts of capitalism is that it restricts people from doing things to move us forward under the pretext that we want to protect an inventor from, protect an inventor from, competition because he needs to recover his costs. Otherwise, inventions wouldn't occur. Of course, we've lived millennia without patents, but of course, again, when you're creating an economic system like capitalism or something, the people who design it, they design it for a particular group of people so that they have the advantage more than opportunity costs, but the advantage and much more. So going back to the seeds, these guys go ahead now and sue the farmer. And we have several cases both in Canada and the United States. The one thing about it is every single time, or just about every single time, the farmer loses in court because we have a court system that really protects the corporatocracy and they have the patent law behind them. Or if the seed company believes that the farmer may have a case, they just drag it out, and eventually the farmer simply has to acquiesce and say, you know what, I bug out. I can't afford to fight these big food companies. But you know who can? Countries can. Countries can definitely fight these companies. And that's what Mexico is doing about genetically modified corn. And right now in Mexico, under the UMCA's new treaty, which is the subsequent treaty to I think what used to be called NAFTA, they decided to challenge. They don't want this genetically modified corn in their field. They don't want genetically modified masa. And Mexico is a country of masa. The masa for your corn, the masa for your bollo, the masa for all these things. And they want to have their regular, good old corn that for those who believe in God, that God gave us. For those who just believe a nature thing, that nature gave us. So America is suing Mexico because Mexico refuses to accept the GMO corn. Mexico says, number one, we don't like the pesticides the herbicides that you have to use because that herbicide can make you sick. Likewise, we just don't know the complete effects of food designed by you into the stomach of our Mexican people. And there may be something to that. I mean, I don't know if you notice how more so than ever, people have been having gastric issues in the United States. So what do we do in the United States? We give you genetically modified food. Some believe that genetically modified food has messed with our entire gastric system, digestive system. And to solve that problem that it causes, what have we done? We've then created yet another industry of medicines to hide those gastric and digestive problems, and on and on and on and on again. So the United States have sued Mexico in international courts, and they think America, we think we have a case, but the truth of the matter is, after this article that I posted in the newsletter, law is not on the side, is not on the U.S. side in the GMO corn fight with Mexico. That probably is going to be short-lived, but I think it's deeper than that. I think here in America, we have to start looking into ourselves, America proper, the people itself. Because what we do as corporations are doing what they're supposed to do under capitalism. I mean, the maximization of resources at all costs, right? Capitalism usually defined as the efficient allocation of resources. Amazing. Because notice it talks about the efficient allocation of resources. Nowhere does humanity come into play. Nowhere does humanity come into play. And when you have the maximization of resources, when you have genetically modified seeds that resist herbicides, so you change the gene so that you can efficiently move that crop, whether it be corn or some other, whether it is oranges or some other. Think about who benefits. And by the way, in their graded communities, those plutocrats can grow their own not genetically modified food. They can grow their not genetically modified animals that they want to serve as they make our food system efficient with serving junk. Now, is that what we want? Is that what it's supposed to be? That's your choice.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.